Me in there with a quality, top professional wrestler, and I'll be damned. That's exactly what Scorpio Sky is.
Backstage EWF with another Hall of Famer, Frankie Kazarian, former XMV Coolest Wrestler Alive Award winner, right. But much even higher award tonight. Tell me your thoughts, man.
It's really cool, man. You know, Hall of Fames usually are what they are, but with Jesse, I know it was sincere, and I know it was heartfelt, and you know, doing it on the 20th anniversary of EWF was really cool, and you know. Wrestling can be a real disingenuous business, so to see Jesse doing legitimate, genuine things and creating a Hall of Fame for, you know, a guy like me and someone like Bobby Brown and Melina is just really cool. You know, it's something I don't take for granted.
Absolutely. You talk about the best being disingenuous. Compare this environment, coming back home after 18 years of being around this company, to a company like TNA, who seems to be, unfortunately, you know, in financial peril or whatever's going on with them. What do you think's made Jesse stand the test of time compared to what's going on with TNA right now?
It's a different beast. You know, Jesse definitely has his niche, and he's been running independent shows for 20 years strong. And, you know, TNA, that's a completely different thing. It's a TV product, and there's that creates a whole other, you know, bag of problems. And they've certainly had their fare, and they've overcome a lot of obstacles, but unfortunately they're still struggling. So, you know, that's taking the TV aspect out of it. Jesse gives the fans night after night, show after show, what they want. And he's developed a reputation that, you know, fans know they can trust him and come and have a good time, fun for the whole family.
How is it coming home to your family here in Southern California, where you made your name? You know, yes, you trained with Walter, but you came back home and trained here with guys like Jesse Hernandez and guys, you know, that ran shows out here. You know, you claimed in the interview that you were starting since you were 7, but let's be real. You know, it was 20 years ago. Yeah. So huge world of difference now for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's kind of a full circle moment. You know, seeing a lot of guys I haven't seen, and you know, I don't get to wrestle in Southern California often, so to come back, you know, where it all started for me is really special, and you know, to have the type of match that we had tonight, it means a lot. You know, it's you know, when you talk about things like returns and Hall of Fames, you know, I'm thinking of guys in their 50s and 60s, but I'm still at the top of my game, in my opinion. So, but it is really cool to come back and to you know, to show Jesse that I appreciate everything he did for me and everything the EWF has done for me.
And what a match you have with Scorpio Sky. I said to both of you separately after the show, you guys look better than ever, the two of you. You guys, in your quote-unquote old age, if you want to call it that, you guys are smoking half the guys on the roster here. It's unbelievable.
It's part, you know, a lot of it's pride. You know, it's keeping yourself in shape, wrestling smart is a big one.
Yes.
And, you know, and keeping up. You know, age is never going to be a deterrent for me because it's only going to make me want to keep up even more so. And until I'm the guy coming in the back huffing and puffing, no one's going to say anything about my age. So.
And how about your home life now that you're home more often with Tracy and the little one? Yep. How is that going for you?
Awesome. I love being a husband and a father. Being a dad's the best thing I've ever done. I love it. I can't wait to get home. I miss them incredibly when I leave every weekend, but it's good to have that foundation and that home base to come to and really put your life in perspective.
All right, well, we appreciate your time, Frank Kazarian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We will see you next time you come back, man. Thank you very much.
I'll be here.
I'm actually in the parking lot of the EWF Arena here in Covina, California. We are preparing to go inside for the EWF 20th Anniversary Show and ProWrestlingFederation.com, of course. And the reason we're in the car is it's pouring down rain. Gotta love SoCal weather. You have 80-degree weather on Wednesday. Today's Friday, and we've got frickin' pouring rain outside. Only in SoCal. Now, I did promise I was going to talk about topics that you guys sent in and questions you guys sent in about current events. However, this morning we woke up to WWE spring cleaning as usual in the month of April and May. So I'm going to go over the releases from today. If I have time at the end of the show, we'll get to a couple of your questions from the Talk Wrestling notepad, if you will. First one I want to talk about is King Barrett. Bad News Barrett, Wade Barrett, whatever you want to call him. Not a huge surprise, let's be honest. His contract's coming up in the next month, and from what he said on Twitter or whatever he said it, they came to a mutual understanding about his release a few weeks early. Again, doesn't surprise anybody, especially you guys watching out there. I absolutely love Bad News Barrett, King Barrett, Wade Barrett, whatever you want to call him again, like I said. But he has been miserable since he became King of the Ring, even before that. Think about that. When was he last booked as a really solid main event level guy? 2010, leading the Nexus against John Cena and WWE. Ever since that group broke up, he's been in one disastrous thing after another when it comes to his gimmicks and his storylines. And I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did with his own peace of mind. Because for me, if that had been me, I'd have been going freaking nuts long before that. Ridiculous on how bad they treated King Barrett, and hopefully he can find, after he takes this break he's taking from professional wrestling, hopefully he can find work elsewhere, maybe TNA as what do you guys call him on the NoDQ forums? Sad situation Stu? Yeah, something like that. Hopefully he finds work, because he's too good not to be working full-time. Santino Marella. He's still at the company? He was till today? I didn't even know he was still at the company. Shows you how much I pay attention. Yeah, Santino got hurt, I think it was in 2014. He broke his neck or something. And he's just been kind of an ambassador and kind of filling in spots here and there, making appearances at like Access and other special events like the Be a Star events and things like that. But he really hasn't been showcased on mainstream, or not mainstream, but WWE television in a very long time, and I'm surprised I didn't know he was still at the company. It really surprised me. I had no idea that he was still involved with the company in any way. So his release, the announcement visually surprised me, but his actual release did not surprise me, if that makes any sense. I'm surprised he was still with the company. So for him to be let go today was pretty much just we're firing everybody else today, so I might as well get rid of your ass too. It's just the way it was. Simple as that. Cameron. This one did not surprise me at all, because Miss Cameron, Ariana, whatever you want to call her on Total Divas, has been quite the big mouth when it comes to the Ryback situation, and been voicing her opinion very boisterously on Twitter about agreeing with Ryback and what he's been saying. So that's what happens when you speak up against the company you work for. You get the shit can. It's as simple as that. She messed up. And honestly, I'm surprised she didn't ask for her release anyway, because what have they done with her since she came back from, she was injured or she just wasn't being used. She was at NXT for a little while when she first came back, but they haven't done spit with her since. So, no real big loss of Cameron on the roster. Hornswoggle and El Torito. I can't I cannot hide my pleasure well enough. I know it's mean to think ill of people, but Hornswoggle was a little jerk to us when we met him in 2011 with the Constantine Studios. Dylan liked him, namesake, obviously. They both share the name Dylan. But other than that, he was very standoffish. And I get that he lived a rough existence as a midget wrestler, dwarf, whatever you want to call him. But for him to treat people like that was completely inexcusable and out of line. And I'm not sad he's gone. I could care less if he's gone. El Torito never really got anywhere past feuding with Hornswoggle and being the mascot for the now rebranded Primo and Epico. So, again, no big loss there. Zeb Coulter. This one kind of shocked me, but when you really think about it, what has Zeb done that's been important since he originally split off from Jack Swagger and went with Alberto Del Rio? The thing with Alberto was a disaster from Jump Street. It was miserable. You could tell Zeb was not enjoying himself. Dutch Mantel, of course. I like Dutch. I always have. I liked him in WCW. I liked him in the other wrestling companies he worked for, USWA and things like that. But he is a throwback to an era in which the manager and the company was necessary. And he's not anymore. The manager in wrestling is no longer the hot ticket that it used to be when Bobby Heenan and Jim Cornette and Paul A. Dangerously and guys like that were ruling the roost. J.J. Dillon, of course. It's not the same. It's not the same as it used to be. Who else? Alex Riley. This one bums me out. I've always liked Riley. I liked him as the Miz's apprentice on NXT. I liked him as Miz's backup on the main roster. And I liked him when he came back to NXT when he was out of the commentary table and doing the Rage gimmick. Matter of fact, he's going to be on NXT this Wednesday facing Nakamura and probably going to get killed in the process. It sucks. I like A-Rod. I always have. And for him to get fired just out of nowhere, it seems. I mean, I get that he's been very outspoken of his opinions in WWE and things like that. But for him to just be dismissed for seemingly no reason, at least in my eyes, is very out of line for WWE. And it just shows they really don't give a shit who they hire, who they fire. And finally, Damien Sandow. Oh my God, I am so bummed about the intellectual savior of the unwashed masses, the former stunt double, the former Macho Mandow and Damien Mizdow and everything like that. It sucks. Sandow has unlimited potential. He went from a guy who was being managed by Michelle McCool in the early 2000s to arguably the most standout mid-carder in the company. More popular than Zack Ryder even for a while. And that's saying something because you know how popular Zack was and still is. People are pissed about Sandow being fired today. They are up in arms. He was a trending topic on Twitter for well over 3 hours, at least at my count. And he even acknowledged that, and he I guess he'll speak out about it later. But very disappointed that Damien Sandow didn't get more of a chance at WWE. His biggest run was the part with Cody and the part with Miz, but he never really got a shot on his own. He was always a comedy filler on his own, and that's so disappointing because he was such a great in-ring worker, and he was unbelievably talented on the microphone. So for them to be dismissed is BS. I'm so pissed. So pissed.